the Utica Institute Museum at the 163rd Annual Mississippi State Fair. You're watching live coverage of WHUC News 7 with Devin Anderson.
Good morning, and thank you for joining this special live show at the Utica Institute Day here at the 163rd Annual Mississippi State Fair. I'm Devin Anderson. This is the first time the Utica Institute Museum has ever been showcased here at the fair, and WHUC News 17 is honored to bring you this historic live coverage of this event. Now, today's event has instructors and businesses from Utica doing presentations and performances from the Jubilee Singers, as well as the Utica Concert Choir. We'll start things off with Mr. James McGee, who is the instructor for Carpentry on the Hinds Utica Campus. The title of his presentation is Building the Mississippi Trademark, which is where we're located at right now. Let's take a listen.
I just wanted to speak to you a few minutes about the Carpentry Program down at Utica Junior College, and just like Mr. Fuller did say, some of my first year students, they were very instrumental in having a hand in building this building right here. I brought a couple of slides that you can see. I guess I need step over here. As you see in the first picture, if you came in through the front of this building right here, I had about 5 of my students from Utica Junior College. Actually, we built the steps that you walked up on, as well as the wall on the other side. My kids, they had a hand in building that. This is a picture right here of them standing beside the wall. Let me get an assistant up here. Okay, hold it up so they can see. Yeah. You can see that I had about 5 students that were very instrumental in building the steps that you walked up. They also did most of the pavement that goes all the way around this whole building. And one afternoon, I think they ran about 700 linear feet of expansion joint that goes up against the building. This is a picture of the pavement we was putting in at the front door right here. And those are the steps, the corner, as well as the front. And these are some pictures of some furniture that we make in the shop. We kind of do that right there, the hobby. That is a table, and that is a desk that went into a medical clinic that we made from pallets. And this is a stage that we had made for the school. And this right here is some pictures where my kids, when during COVID, we had a lot of free time. My students, actually, I had them involved in working with Raymond High School. This is some pictures of the gymnasium. We did all the foundation work on the gymnasium, as well as the fine arts building right here. This is actually pictures of my kids involved in a concrete pour. And this right here is like the stage that you see when you walk into the Raymond Fine Arts building. The actual stage that goes down is kind of like a theater style. My kids, they helped and participated in building that. And these are some of the framing projects that we do in our shop, in-house. And this is a picture of Mr. Boone, who is still at Utica Junior College. We do a lot of community service work too. We try to learn everything from residential and commercial work. We do everything from estimating, reading blueprints, foundation work, roofing, wall frame. And me, I'm a little extra. I teach them how to tie steel, poured concrete. You know, I try to give them the full money. I always tell them, I'm gonna give you a little bit more than what you paid for. And actually, on Fridays and Saturdays, when we really and truly don't have that much class, I like to actively get out and find my kids jobs to do. Actually, right now, half of my class is working with a framing contractor as we speak. They work every Friday and every Saturday. And whenever I have time to be off, I always go out in the field with them because I want to give them that extra push to give them the knowledge that they need to be successful in the job. We have any questions? Well, the stairs, actually, we were in Raymond finishing up. We were working for my brother-in-law who owns First Construction Company. He left us in Raymond. He left me with 5 18-year-old kids to finish this job. And his company is the company that actually poured all the concrete that you're walking on right now. And to tell you a funny story, those steps right there, we actually built them twice. We built them the first time, and he came through and took out most of the braces. And when they poured the concrete, they moved. And when they moved, it cost about $40,000. We had to tear them out and redo them. That's the first time we did them, and I think that right there is the result of the second time. So actually, I think it took us about 3 days to actually build those steps. You know, and he would walk up to them and let them, you know, just not be statues. He would actually let them figure the concrete that we was pouring for the next morning. Like for all the sidewalk going all the way around this building, he would actually let them do the calculations to tell him how many cubic yards he needed for that morning. And one thing I try to do is push my kids. I push them a little bit hard. You know, sometimes they be mad at me, but you know, when they leave me and get out and get a good paying job, they always call me back and tell me thank you. You know, because I want you to be prepared. Oh yeah, and it's also good for females. I have tons of females. Actually, I have 2 students that were with me for 2 years that are actually welders at Eagle Shipyard now. I also teach in a structural fitting class at night, and they were actually in my carpentry class. I guess I should have brought some pictures. But I mean, the females that take my class do exceptionally well because they're more detail oriented than most guys are. You know. You can sit there and talk to them and they can see things that most guys can't. And I always tell them, when you're looking at blueprints or somebody is talking to you, you have to almost draw it in your head when you're talking to a person, especially if they don't have, you know, any drawing or any diagram for you to look at the build. It's just like homecoming. They came to me 2 weeks ago, me and my kids 2 weeks ago, and asked us to build the Eiffel Tower for homecoming. Most people would be freaked out by the idea of building the Eiffel Tower for homecoming on a miniature scale. But my kids and I, we accept it as a challenge. We're gonna make a miniature version of the Eiffel Tower off of a picture. And most of the stuff that we do build, as far as the tables and stuff like that, we have no dimensions. I challenge them to pull the stuff out of their brain, bring it to their hand, and make a little sketch and make it to scale.
So you were just listening to James McGee, and he gave a presentation on building the trademark, which is where we are right now. Now, what makes this department very interesting is how he stated in his presentation that a lot of his students get very hands-on work, including building the very building that we're at right now. So it's very interesting how much community work they get involved into, as well as how much hands-on training they get, so they can easier transition into getting a job after. Now we're going to move on to the Jubilee Singers, who appears to be getting ready right behind me. They have a performance along with the Utica Concert Choir. Now, the Jubilee Singers was revived by Bobby G. Cooper. They were originally founded to raise money for the Utica Normal and Institute College. So, very historical band here that's going to get ready to perform right now. was just listening to the Utica Gospel Choir, and that was just an amazing performance. And I gotta say, it definitely grabbed somebody's attention out in the audience. Now, if you love that choir, they do travel to different schools and perform. So if you like to see their performances, go on the Hinds Utica website and find out when the next time they perform. Now we're gonna move on to a local business in Utica called SIP Culture. Now this organization is specialized in clean, renewable agriculture, meaning no fertilizers, no pesticides, none of that, just clean agriculture. And what makes them so special is that they give out their agriculture to the elderly in the Utica community. So if you want to give some of that, go to their website and sign up for that if you want some local produce. They're up next.
Good afternoon, how y'all doing? Oh, come on, Utica, show up now. Utica in the house. All right. My name is Carlton Turner. I am the co-director of the Mississippi Center for Cultural Production. We also go by the name of SIP Culture. We are based in Utica, Mississippi. I am homegrown from Utica. My family's been in that community for 8 generations. And I'm really excited to be here with you all this morning just to talk a little bit about what we do down there in Utica. If you haven't been to Utica in a while, you may not know what's really happening. But as you see with all these young people bring this beautiful music and song to the stage, there's a lot going on in Utica, Mississippi. So please don't sleep on the campus. Let's give it up again for the choir that just got off stage. Beautiful voices. All these folks are coming out of Utica. Old Travis Banks, my boy from high school over there. It's all kind of folks you see down here. We're really excited to be here. What we do with the Mississippi Center for Cultural Production is really 3-pronged. It's based first in community-centered engagement. So we work with the community to identify the issues that we're facing and challenged within our community, and to identify the solutions that we want to employ for our community. It's also based in cultural production. So we're about producing the culture that we want to be a part of. What that means for us is first, it's telling our story. Nobody can tell you anything about Utica better than the folks who live and breathe Utica. So we want to focus on centering the stories of our community first. And we also think about culture production in the terms of producing the food that's a part of our community and our culture. So we have 3 spaces. We have a residency house in which we support artists from a 5-state region to come in and do residency and bench with us. We fund their work, we support their work with development, with advisory, with consultations, and provide them just a space and respite to be creative and begin to produce the work that they're interested in. We also have a space at 17 acres of green space in which we have our community farm, in which we're training young folks in sustainable organic agricultural production. So we farm on about 2 acres. We have an 1,800 square foot greenhouse in which we produce our own seeds. And then we also work on community development. So we're really focusing on developing infrastructure for our community to succeed. We're working on developing a commercial kitchen on the corner of Main Street, White Oak Street. It will also be a community center. So those are just a few of the things that we've been working on as a community, as part of our work in Utica. I want to just give a big applause to our team. So we have our staff here with us today. If my staff can hold your hands and stand up. All right. That's our communications folks, our co-director, program coordinator, and our farm team, farm manager, property manager back there. So we all work together to bring about these changes in the community of Utica. We've been working with the Utica Institute Museum as partners both in research and in bringing arts to the community and bringing artists to the community to help facilitate the gathering of stories and oral histories. Because our history is embedded in our community, in the bodies of our constituents. And so we work with artists to help bring those stories to be archived and documented for today and for the future. There's a lot of information to glean from those conversations. And we want to make sure that that information is a part of what we're using to build the next Utica. Whatever Utica is going to be next, we're going to be the one, we're going to be the architects of it. So we're really excited to be here. If you have any questions, you want to know anything else about the organization, you can find us at sipculture.org. We are online, Instagram, SIPculture. Just check us out. And if you have any questions, These are some greens that we grow on our all-organic, sustainable farm. Very good-looking greens. You wouldn't know that these greens was picked 3 days ago. Beautiful greens. That's right. That's that good organicness. They don't fade quickly like the stuff out of the grocery store. Anyway, come see us. We appreciate y'all, and we look forward to meeting y'all. Come by our booth right down there to the next to Hinds Community College.
That was a wonderful presentation from Sip Culture, and it gave a little bit of insight on what's happening down in Utica. Now, before we go to break, I'm going to give you a little bit of insight on what's happening after. We got clothing from the fashion department, Ms. Jontia Luckett-Davis, giving a presentation. When we come back.
If you can't trust any other college news source, trust WHUC. They are the team you can trust with the latest Hinds news. From the State Fair,
numerous antique vehicles,
the annual homecoming specials,
Very interesting and refreshing.
and more. While others chit-chat, we bring you the latest to what's happening across and around the Hinds County area.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for joining us on
Trust Hinds'
WHUC
very
News
own
7 News.
WHUC News 7.
Welcome back to this live coverage of Utica Institute Day here at the 163rd Annual Mississippi State Fair. Now from the fashion department of the Utica campus, we have Ms. Jontia Luckett-Davis, the clothing and textile instructor. I'm sorry. If you have dreams of becoming a fashion designer, this is the department you want to be in.
The Clothing and Fashion Design Program is designed to assist individuals who want to work or have a career in the fashion industry. We teach everything from sewing, pattern design, drafting, computer-aided design. Many of our students have gone on to work in New York. One student just finished an intern with J. Crew. We also have students who have gone on to London and to Paris to work there. So our fashion program is really growing. So as we present our Fall 22 122 presentation, we just ask you to please support the students and give them a round of applause as they come forth. All right, the first fashion trend for fall is leather. So you can have a leather jacket, you can have leather shoes in your closet. This student here, Zahidi, has chosen today to wear some leather trousers. He has paired it with a basic tee, and this is all leather weight, as you can see. So he should wear bling every day. So give the student a round of applause. And also, if you have heard of the Y2K trend, our next student, it has chosen to do this trend today. So Y2K definitely pairs with boho, oversized jeans, also body. So this is my student Ariel. She has decided today to pair up a boho jacket and pair it up with a fitted body. Her speakers give you a Y2K appeal for today. Please give Ariel a round of applause. Trending for winter is also a set where you get to choose print. So here we have Mrs. Patina. Where are you, Mrs. Patina? So during the audience, this is her daughter. She has chosen to wear a cute, fuzzy, and cozy winter, I would call this a nutmeg color, sweater, and she has chosen to pair it with a waterproof skirt. If you have tights in your closet, those are definitely trending for the fall. Pair with tights, and she has also chosen to pair it with boots. So I'm going to let her rock the runway, and please give her a round of applause. Up next, we have Travis Jefferson. This is Mr. Sophomore himself. Travis has actually designed and made his jacket, as they call it, for fall 22 to fall 23. So he has paired his plaid together around Travis. And Travis also designed a banana bag. He chose to put a banana in the bag for his jacket. Jacket is a shirt and a jacket together, so we call them jackets. So those are trending for fall, winter 22. He also chose to pair So give me a round of applause because our class will be able to finish okay too. So if you ever want to check out our clothing and fashion design department, please locate Mr. Gibson over there and he will tell you all the information you need. So thank you guys for coming out and my uncle, Robert, for today. Check out our fall winter 22 trend showcase. And if you have any questions, I'll be thank you.
All right, next after the fashion department, we have from the welding department, Mr. DeLon Dillon, as he gives a presentation on why welding is booming. Now, welding is a very lucrative business, and he has some of his students along with him to hopefully show a demonstration and give a little bit more insight on what they do in the class.
I got a few notes here, but I ain't gonna be in the public because I've been at this a while. I've been in this field about 40 years and really ain't got tired yet. I enjoy what I do. First of all, we want to tell you that we don't discriminate. We have young ladies in our program. We have young ladies that have finished well and they're doing good. We got jobs everywhere. First of all, we want to talk about one of the biggest companies in the world. Ingalls Shipbuilding. We do have students down there at Ingalls, and every time we go, Ingalls are looking to hire about 4,000 people. And a big number of about 60% of them is welders. So anywhere you look, that's the reason I said welding is booming and it's needed all over the world. Everywhere you go is welding. Those chairs you sit in, look around at them. There's welding. Okay? That stand Mr. Chris will have, some welders involved. The building, everybody look up at the ceiling. Look at all those beams. There's welding there. Everywhere you go, welding is involved. That's why I said welding is booming. So a lot of people want to get in this field because it is hard work, but it's a great career. It's great money. Okay? After I get through talking, I'm going to let my students do a demonstration of exactly how you weld. We have a portable welder here. We're not going to weld because you might not be standing there. We're not going to start a fire here, but we can. We got the stuff to do it with. But we're going to let these guys do a demonstration after I get through talking. Okay? Shipbuilding trucking companies. Utility trailer, man camp trailer. We got trucking companies all over the state of Mississippi that I go and visit and call and they always need welders. Okay? Everywhere we go. So now, trucking companies need welders. Any type of building, hotel, churches, stores, anything you can think of. How many of y'all like to go shopping? I know the lady like the mall, all the malls, everywhere you go, it's welding everywhere. The escalator, you go up and down, welding is involved. That's why I keep telling you that welding is booming, and it's not just needed in Mississippi. It's not just needed in the United States, it's all over the world. They have a program where they ask welders to come to Afghanistan and rebuild, and they'll pay about $100,000 a year just to go over there and do some welding. So that's why I said welding. Now we're going to go a little further. How many of y'all got cars and trucks and boats and all that stuff? It's welding there. The car you ride in, the truck you ride in, the frame is built out of welding. That's why I said welding is needed everywhere. Airplanes, how many of y'all fly? You got to realize that around when you're in the sky flying, you're flying on somebody's weld thing. That's why we teach young guys to be the very best they can be. We don't take nothing less. I teach them to be the best they can be at this. Because a lot of times people's lives are at stake because of the weld you make. Whether it's quality, good quality weld or not. Sometimes people's lives are at stake, a lot of times. So I teach you guys, number one, what's the first thing? Safety is what? Safety is all the way first. All my students I teach at Hinds, the first thing I do, I take them to about a 3-week, 4-week safety program. Before they touch the shop, before they do the welding, they must pass the safety program. And once a welder passes the safety program, I get them in the shop, get them started welding. We teach them how to read blueprints, how to read tape measures, how to build all different types of projects. Go a little farther, heavy equipment. Tractors, trailers, backhoes, bulldozers, all those things. Welding is needed all the time. I do have part-time welding minutes, and over the years I've welded on all different types of things. Farm equipment, all this stuff. Military. How many military people we have? The military, the tanks, the jeeps, even your ammunition, your guns is made from welding. So that's why I say again that this field of welding is booming. And it's needed. Where is it needed, young man? All over the world. Say that again. It's booming. It's needed all over the world. That's why I want to challenge any young people that's in the trade bar today. I want to challenge you to come down to high school and college in Utica. If you don't want to go to Utica, you can go right to Rankin. If you don't want to go to Rankin, you can stop in Vicksburg, or you can go to Raymond. We have 5 locations that teach welding. Okay? We have 5 campuses that teach welding. I actually teach at the one in Utica, but now if you don't want to stop at one of them, we welcome you to come down to Utica. Next class we start with JR. We have some guys that's going to graduate. Both of these guys are going to graduate in December. And I'm looking for them to call me back and tell me that they're successful somewhere. Okay? The most important thing is that we got to think about this welding, because it's moving, and because welding is needed all over the world, we have a problem. Because if you check statistics, the age of the average welder is 52 years old. That's 3 years younger than me. And what I'm concerned about is, when I hang my head up, when I retire, I'm looking for some young people I can pass the baton to and carry this field on. And that's the situation we have. The average welder in the world is 52 years old. So all these young people, we need you to get out. We need you to come get your training, finish your training, get out and start your welding career. We need you. All these high schools, we call it for high schools. All these ag museums, trade schools, and all community college. We got to continue to teach these young people. And not only do I teach them about welding, I teach them about life. I teach them how important it is to carry themselves and be a professional in everything they do. So we thank God for all we've been able to do. And we're going to say this one more time. They don't want me to do it, we're going to do it though. I want to repeat after me, and then they're going to do a quick demonstration. We're done, okay? Welders are needed where? Everywhere. Welders are needed where? Welding is booming and needed all over the world. All right, we're going to turn you over to 2 of my baddest young. There's no fella in his bag. Little Ron is bad. He's my best welder I have in the shop. He's my number 3. Young fella, he's bad. They're going to give y'all a quick demonstration. I'm going to stand back because they've been trained. I ain't got to tell them nothing. They know what to do. Let's give them a demonstration. Okay. All right, so this is your...
Just move it out. Yeah.
All right, so this is your big machine. Big weld, your stick weld. You got your electrode. You got your ground right there. And you're going to need all your safety equipment on. This right here is the safety helmet. Protects your eyes. This right here is the ground. You can connect it to the metal to get the weld started. And this is your electrode. Put it to the metal, spark, and you weld it. That's basically a quick summary of what it is and what we do on a day-to-day basis. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, now we're on to the next presentation here at the Utica Institute Day at the Mississippi State Fair. We have both instructors of cosmetology, Ms. Regina Adams and Dr. LaShonda Brown. Their topic of presentation is, why are you losing your hair? Now, my dad is bald, and hopefully I can learn something from this presentation because I do not want to keep that cycle going. So let's tune into Cosmetology Department.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. I am Ms. Adams and this is Ms. Brown, and we teach cosmetology on the Hinds Community College Utica campus. Anybody know where Utica is? our program for 1,500 hours. You must get 1,500 hours for 3 semesters. Once they get their 1,500 hours, they're eligible to go to the state board and test. When they get to state board and test, they must make at least a 70. Remember, a 70 on the theory and practical exams. Does everybody understand that? Okay, so once they go to state board and test, they are licensed for the state of Mississippi. Under their license, they can perform any services, hair, skin, nails, anything under cosmetology. Everybody understand? Okay. We have a total of about 20 students every semester. The interns of our program. Our program starts back up in January and in August. So the fall and the spring, we accept students on the high school and college Utica campus. Y'all ready for some questions? All right. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. How old do you have to be to enter into the program? Come on up and get a gift.
Come on, Jay.
How many hours do you have to complete cosmetology?
All right, let's clap it up for our winners. Listen, y'all, if you can hear my voice and you want to know why you are losing your hair, come this way. We'll give you a few minutes to get here. But as Ms. Adams said, we are the instructors at Hinds Community College, the Utica Campus Cosmetology Program, where we have a state-of-the-art facility. There in that state-of-the-art facility, we do teach our students all they need to know about hair, about skin, and about nails, because it is an art and it is a science. We have several giveaways on today, and we want to give everything that we have on the stage away. But you have to be over here to answer the questions to win. And we have some awesome prizes. Some of those prizes include gift certificates for free services in our state-of-the-art facility. All right, so let's talk about it. Why are you losing your hair? It's something that we all have. It's something that we all cherish. And when we lose it, it can be devastating. And when we think of hair loss, most of the time, we think of the effects that it has in women, but it affects men as well. Some men are not bald by choice. That was their only option at the time. So I just want to share a little bit of information with you on today, because sometimes we think we're losing our hair and it is just ordinary shedding, okay? Because the truth of the matter is, if we kept every hair that grew on the top of our head, we wouldn't be able to hold our head up. So when it comes to hair, it goes through 3 different phases. Ms. Adams, tell them what those 3 phases are.
Anagen, keratin, and keratin. We got the beginning phase, the transitional phase, and the ending phase of hair loss.
Absolutely. That is correct. So that was anagen, catagen, and the telogen phase. So the normal hair loss is losing anywhere from 50 to 100 hairs per day, depending on your hair's density. So just because you see hairs in your comb or in your brush, that doesn't necessarily mean your hair is falling out. But here are some things that will cause you to experience hair loss. If you lose 20 pounds or more swiftly, you will lose your hair. All right? Giving birth will make you lose your hair. Experiencing stress on your job will make you lose your hair. Illness, operations, medication, and this one we probably don't even think about. We probably don't even think about this one. But constipation will make you lose your hair. All right? If you're not releasing toxins from your body the way you're supposed to, it will contaminate your system and cause you to lose your hair. All right? So hair loss is a major issue that plagues us. Who knows the month that we recognize alopecia? Who knows Alopecia Awareness Month? That's the technical term for hair loss. Anybody? September. Yes, that is correct. Come up and get your prize. You didn't know that. The baby knew it, and the mama didn't know it. Oh my. Oh my. Okay. So, lastly, before our lovely students come back to ask you more questions to take away these prizes, I just want to give you some general tips for you to maintain healthy hair. And if you don't have anything to write it down with, you can record my voice or see Ms. Adams or myself, and we will get you a copy of this healthy hair care tip list. Number one, who wants to guess what number one is? No. The first tip, what do you think is first on the list for having healthy hair? Moisturize? No. It's something so simple. Yes, ma'am. Vitamins? How about just simply drinking water? Come get your prize. I didn't hear you. Come get your prize. Yes, drinking water. That's number one. Okay? Drinking water. That's number one. Listen, that should be the first thing you put in your body every morning is water. To help flush and get things moving. All right? Drinking water. Tip number two, eating a healthy diet. Hot fries and hot Cheetos ain't gonna get it. This is another one. Making sure you have a satin pillowcase, bonnet, or scarf so that you don't rub your hair out. When you rinse your conditioner from your hair, rinse it with cool, tepid water rather than hot water. All right? Minimize your stress and tension. So whatever your stressors are, release them. Don't be a salon chair hopper. So preferably, Ms. Adams and I would recommend that you see one of our students in their professional career because we know they have been trained and taught properly, and they will take really good care of you. All right? Anything else, Ms. Adams? Awesome. So we're going to let our students come and ask more questions to give out our gifts and prizes. Again, we thank you for your attentiveness. Hope you win a prize on today. Listen, come see us at the U. We have a full-service salon. We provide hair care services, nail care services, and skin care services at a low cost to you. So come visit us at the U.
One of the gifts that we have up here is a manicure and pedicure free coupon. That is a manicure and pedicure for anyone that receives one of these gifts today. This gift card is near and dear to our hearts perform these services. All these services at the school are performed by our students. So we just ask that you call one of the numbers on here. You get me or Ms. Brown to schedule the appointment, so we'll be ready for you. Okay? All right.
Okay, more questions? What does healthy hair look like?
Full and large.
Anybody else? Say it again. What does healthy hair look like?
Come on. Yes, good job.
Come on.
Your hair is healthy. It looks healthy. Yes.
How many months excessive shedding stops? Who said 6 months?
Come on. Yes, good job. Good job.
Okay. How do you know the difference between shedding and falling out? Both of you in the back. You young lady and you standing up.
Good job. Good job.
I did. And you standing up. Both of you. What does cosmetology cover? All of you come get a prize.
So we don't want to take anything home. All of you were correct, so all of you come get a prize. Yes.
They go this way. Get my hands and feet down.
Again, thank you for your time. Please come visit us at Hinds Community College, the Utica Campus, Cosmetology Department. Again, I'm Ms. Brown and my co-part is Ms. Adams.
That was a wonderful presentation. A lot of things that I learned, and hopefully you learned some things too. As far as hair loss, I don't think I got much hope. I think it runs in my genes, but maybe I'll take some of their advice and try to, be a little healthy. Drink more water, eat better food, and try to keep my hair nice and healthy. But now we're going to move on to another presentation by Mr. Eddie Perry in the Automotive Department. Now, the presentation is titled Automotive Innovations. So Mr. Perry has gotten me and a lot of students kind of out of some car troubles. If you supply the parts, he'll make sure your car runs back to normal. So let's take a listen to his presentation on a new automotive innovation.
Hi, everybody. This is Automotive Technology at Hinds Community College. I want to share about some innovative ideas with new automotive. 7 years ago, I attended one of the first ever self-driving automobile conferences. How many of you heard about self-driving vehicles? How many of you think you would drive a self-driving vehicle? Nobody, right? Well, when I attended the conference, I thought I would never get in the vehicle. I was going to get the information, they know how you, and I was a little leery about the new vehicle, new technology. But once I learned about how safe the vehicle was, by midweek, I end up riding down the highway without touching the steering wheel. But when we think of new, innovative, when I started out in '84, which was a long time ago, new innovation was cruise control. It was vehicles that rode on air with the suspension. It was vehicles had one computer. Now vehicles have over 100 computers that you own now. So technology have came a long way. My buddy Mr. Dillon just told y'all about how technology is booming. Automotive is booming. There are so many jobs available. These gentlemen here, they already interned in my program on jobs right now. It pays well. They can't find enough technicians out there. You know, like I was saying, back when I first started working on automobiles in '84, you didn't need nothing but maybe a pair of pliers and just a small socket set, but now you need a lot of technical equipment to check these vehicles out. But anyway, what I want to say, I said that to say all this, that to work on these vehicles, you need special training. That's what we at Hinds come in at, to give you that special training that you need. We offer certification in the class while you're taking the course, ASC certification. Also, we have other second credentials, NC3. But not on that, we offer specialized internship while you're in the class also. In other words, we see you to work on the job and you get paid while you're taking the class. And so there's a big plus if you come to Hinds. A lot of you probably know about electronic vehicles, but not too many people know a lot about these self-driving vehicles. One of the things about self-driving vehicles is we have radars and cameras that allow you to drive these vehicles. So with that being said, federal government is going to have to do a lot of building on our infrastructure, not only the highways, but also they're going to have to do a lot with the mapping technology. Because that was one of the questions I had when I went to the seminar. I asked, what about GPS? You know, because you know yourself, when you depend on your GPS, it'll send you to a location that says you have reached your destination, and you might be on a dead-end street. But with this technology that's on these self-driving vehicles, this is something that pretty much NASA uses. It's a higher technology than the GPS that we use. And so it's a lot safer. And that's what we're working on, because when they wrote this grant several years ago, I was part of the research team up in Dayton, Ohio. And there was 40 instructors that were chosen across the country. And I was one of those 40 that was chosen. I felt privileged. But they told us to come back and educate the public on this. And so we tried to let people know, you know, how safe these vehicles really are, because if it wasn't, I wouldn't have got in it, first of all. But this is going to require a lot of people to be trained on these vehicles. And at Hinds, we offer that specialized training that you're going to need for these vehicles. But I want to right now open the floor up to several questions, and we have a lot of questions about these self-driving vehicles. We went up to Dayton, and so I want to open the floor up now for any question you have about electric vehicles or self-driving vehicles. Yes. She said, how long it take before the car leaves the road? Actually, we got an instructor, you probably remember, a retired instructor by the name of Little Knight. Little Knight bought a Cadillac Super Cruise. And it's a self-driving vehicle. And I set it up for him and showed him how to drive it. But to answer your question in a short way, they don't need a road. But when you first purchase the vehicle, you got to set it up, you got to make sure it's comfortable. Because at first what's going to happen, it's going to be going from line to line, recognizing those lanes. And so you have to drive it and relearn it as you put it in different situations. Anybody else got a question? Okay, thank you.
Another great presentation by Mr. Eddie Perry, and I'm not going to say anything about the self-driving cars because I'm not really sold on it just yet. I'm going to stick with my car, but it's not to know what we have in the future going on in the automotive industry. Now we're going to take a small little break, and when we come back, we're going to have Miss Jean Green giving a little interesting history of the Utica Institute Museum.
For more than 4 decades, you have trusted us to be the #1 college news source that cares for you from the beginning to the end. So now, we're proud to say that we've won the Mississippi Association of Broadcasters Awards. And we will continue to try to keep you knowledgeable and focused on stories that are happening around you. We are Hinds' very own WHUC News 7, named #1 by the Mississippi Association of Broadcasters.
Welcome back to this special live coverage of the Utica Institute Day here at the Mississippi State Fair. I'm Devin Anderson, and thank you for tuning in on us again. Now, we're going to have Miss Jean Green come on the stage to talk a little bit about the history of Utica. Let's listen in.
I'm here. My name is Jean Green, and I'm one of the co-directors of the Utica Institute Museum. I'm here to tell you a little bit about what started the Utica campus and why it turned into something that is so significant. Back in Alabama, a man was born. He was the son of former slaves, and his name was William Henry Holtzclaw. William Henry Holtzclaw had a little bit of a formal education, but just very little. Eventually, he came across a brochure from a school in Alabama, Tuskegee Institute. When he came across that brochure, he decided to contact the principal of Tuskegee, who was Booker T. Washington. And he just wrote something simple. It was, "Book, I want to get an education, can I come?" And on that inauspicious application, he was admitted to Tuskegee Institute. He worked at Tuskegee as the student worker, essentially, of Booker T. Washington. And Booker T. Washington became his mentor. One of the things that Washington wanted to do for black people during that time, this is a time post-Civil War, pre-Civil Rights, when education for black folks was not a given. What Booker T. Washington wanted his students to do was to go into the deepest, darkest places and bring this education, the light of education, to black people. Some of his students took this and ran with it. One of those students was William Holtzclaw. So when he thought about this, and when he graduated from Tuskegee, he went on to work first at an institute in Alabama called Snow Hill. While he was at Snow Hill, he started thinking about where he would put his school, should he be able to build one. And he couldn't think of any place deeper or darker than Mississippi. He decided he would bring his school to the delta of Mississippi. One of the things that we need to look at today is sometimes you're not going to succeed the first time you go out. Sometimes you have to try more than one time. Holtzclaw came to Mississippi. He went to the upper delta near Utica, and he tried to set up a school there. But planters and farmers, whites in the area, said something to the effect of, they don't need to know how to read and write to pick cotton. So he was not successful in that area. He went back to Alabama, and he thought about it. The next time he came to Mississippi, he decided to go to the middle part of the Delta. He went to Mount Bio, which is an all-black town, and actually talked to one of the founders of Mount Bio, Isaiah Montgomery, and asked him if he could start a school there. And Montgomery essentially asked him if he had his own funds, because there was no money to be had to give to him to build his school. Also, Mount Bio already had 3 schools about this time. So Holtzclaw had to go back to Alabama in defeat again. The last time he came to Mississippi, he decided after reading a book called Pushing to the Front that this was going to be it. He was going to do it. He was going to build that school. So he came to the Yazoo City area and was directed to go further south to Jackson. When he got to Jackson, he was directed to go to Raymond. The folks in Raymond told him that there's a church in Utica that might want to have a school. So he came on to the town of Utica. On this trip to Mississippi, he was riding a bicycle, his wife's bicycle, about the Delta. Now, there were no paved roads like there are now. He had to go through cane breaks and all kinds of wildernesses. Eventually, that bicycle broke down, and he had to carry it into town. When he made it into Utica, he actually sold that bike for $2 and a pocket watch. And he took that $2 and opened a bank account at the local bank in Utica. That money was what he started. That was his seed money for building the school. But first he had to start with that school he was working in as a teacher at St. Peter Baptist Church. St. Peter Baptist Church still exists in the town of Utica. And right in front of it, you will see, if you drive through Utica, a monument to that first school that William Holtzclaw built in 1903. So, Utica Institute, Utica Normal and Industrial Institute, was started in 1903 in Utica, Mississippi. That's why my shirt says, serving you since 1903. Once he started his school, now remember this is early 20th century, and funding was not plentiful. So Holtzclaw had to work with the people who were in the community. He had to inspire the people in the community. He had to encourage them not only to allow their children to come to the school, but also to help him fund the school. Money was not plentiful. So even though he was getting some support from those local parents, local businesses and farmers, he still needed a little bit more money. So in the tradition of some of the other smaller schools in the Southeast, he traveled to the north and east to talk to philanthropists, rich people, to see if they would be interested in investing in his school. Part of this funding effort was a result of his association with Tuskegee Institute. Because of that, he had an end to some of these philanthropists. What he discovered as he was going out and talking to them is that there was a love or an interest in plantation songs and spirituals. So the music that we heard today comes out of what Holtzclaw started when he created the first group of singers, the Jubilee Singers. He found out that if he sent these young men up to the north and east, that they would inspire people to loosen their pockets and give a little bit of money. So that tradition continued on for the while that he served as the leader of the Utica Normal and Industrial Institute. Holtzclaw headed up that institution from 1903 until 1943. In 1908-09, he got some land 5 miles southwest of the town of Utica. Once he acquired this land, he moved the school from inside the town to this area. This location, 5 miles southwest of the town of Utica, between Utica and Port Gibson. Is that the name of the town? That is the name of the town, Port Gibson. I don't know why I'm thinking Christmas rings today, y'all. I guess I'm thinking tomatoes. I don't know. So between Utica and Port Gibson, is where you will find the campus of Hinds Community College, Utica Campus, today. So, 1903 to 1943, headed up by William Henry Holtzclaw. Booker T. Washington came to visit the campus on a couple of occasions, and he, in Holtzclaw's book, The Black Man's Burden, Holtzclaw wrote a book in 1915, making him the first black man in Mississippi to publish a book. In the introduction to that, Booker T. Washington called the Utica Institute one of the best examples of a little Tuskegee one of the best examples of what the Tuskegee machine was producing. There were over 20 schools that were seeds of Tuskegee, and of those 20, Utica was considered the best. One of the other things that we've discovered about Utica and the Utica Institute is that of those 20 or so schools, only 2 of them produced schools themselves, and Utica was one of them. Students from Utica went on to found a school in Crystal Springs, which exists today, a school near Florence, Mississippi, and a man who came to Utica to work and study under Holtzclaw, Lawrence Jones, left his time at the Utica Institute to found Piney Woods Country Life School. So the reach of Utica extends far past the lines of the campus. In 1943, Holtzclaw died, and his wife and their son decided to carry forth the school after his death. But as you know, there's a lot going on in the world in 1943, and funding had shifted from education to war effort. So funding was not available. They were only able to keep the school running as a private institution for 3 years. Then it was turned over to Hinds County Schools and became Hinds Agricultural High School Colored, because at the time there was already a Hinds Agricultural High School in Raymond. So, 1946, Hinds Agricultural High School. Then in 1953 or 54, it became Hinds Agricultural High School and Utica Institute Junior College. There was a junior college created on the campus. It remained Utica Institute Junior College until the late 50s, when the institute was dropped from the name and it became Utica Junior College. It remained Utica Junior College until 1983, when, because of the Jake Ayers case, we were merged into the Hinds Community College District with the Raymond campus. And we have been the Utica campus of Hinds Community College since that time. There's a lot of tradition and involvement with Southern Black education and with agriculture. Yes, Holtzclaw followed in the footsteps of Booker T. Washington and pushed through his curriculum for agriculture. He wanted his students to be self-sufficient. He wanted to encourage the people in the community to not only get an education, but to have multi-room homes and to own their own land and to farm that land. He wanted all of these people that were attached to the community to be able to survive and to thrive on their own. This connection to community, this need to uplift the people that are around the school continues in the applications, in the programs, in the people who exist on that campus today. There's so much more to the story of Holtzclaw and the Utica campus. We created the Utica Institute Museum to keep this legacy of William Holtzclaw alive. So many times when we're out, so many of us are so invested in what our own world is. We do not reach out to see what came before us, how that impacts us, and how we have a part in it. One of the things that I'm so proud of with the Utica Institute Museum is that we not only tell the story of our past, but we place our students and people who come through to see the information that we have, to share those stories. We show them where they are a part of our story, where, as I tell Dan Fuller all the time, where all roads lead to Utica. We find in the people that attend our campus, in the people who work on our campus, an increased connection to the story of William Holtzclaw and to the history and legacy of the Utica campus. We have a booth here today, and I am more than willing, anybody will tell you, to talk forever about the story of William Holtzclaw. I'm trying not to do that today. I'm trying to cut it down. Am I doing okay, Dan? Am I good? Okay. But I will be willing to tell you this story as long and as often as I need to. Please make it a point, if you're driving between Raymond and Port Gibson, to stop by the Utica campus. Come by the Utica Institute Museum. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. Can I tell them a little bit about myself, Dan? Okay. So, I came to Utica, well first I came to Hinds in 1993. And, yeah, I know I don't look it right. I came to Hinds in 1993, never heard of Utica, didn't know anything about Utica. I'm from a little town in Panola County called Pope, so I'd never heard of that. When I found out about Utica, I'm like, okay, that's nice, that's a cute little place. I don't think I want to go down there. Then in about 2000, I got an offer to go to Utica. Still knew nothing about the history. I got to Utica and folks started talking to me about what was going on. I'm like, huh, all that happened down here? Isn't that interesting? But the more I was told, the more I became interested in Holtzclaw, the more I wondered about the connection to Tuskegee, the more I became invested. I retired from the Utica campus in 2019, and I have been volunteering at the museum since then, because I believe so much in the story that William Holtzclaw had, in the person that he was, and in the influence he had within his community and within the field of education, that I wanted to share that with as many people as I could. When we made a trip to Tuskegee, it felt like going home. We went there to find out more about the founder. We will take you if you want to go. It's so interesting and moving to walk the ground that Booker T. Washington walked, to find the places that Holtzclaw talked about in his book. We found Snow Hill Institute in Snow Hill, Alabama. Those connections to our past, those connections that we feel with those stories is something that we really want to impart to you. The other thing is, we're trying to continue and pay it forward by collecting oral histories and imparting those, saving those stories so that they're never lost. So, you have a standing invitation to come to the Utica Institute Museum. Now, I need to tell you when I'm there, because I want to be there when you show up. Okay, so since I'm retired, I'm not there on Mondays, Dan. I'm there Tuesday through Friday. But if you're really good and call me ahead of time and let me plan my weekend, I will give you a tour on a Saturday or a Sunday. But you're going to have to bring me something for me to do that. I'm just saying, I'm very partial to Petit Fours from Mimi's and Clinton. Just putting it out there. Come see me.
Now we're going to move over to one of the most important aspects of raising a child. What environment you wanted to grow up in. From early childhood to tenure, Ms. Monica Davis will present her presentation entitled Selecting a Quality Daycare.
Yes. All right, you all, greetings. We bring you
greetings from the Utica Campus, early childhood education. So I have two of my students, and I want everybody to join in. We're kind of having that fun. Who all know the song? Let's sing. Baby shark, do-do-do-do-do, baby shark, do-do-do-do-do, baby shark, do-do-do-do-do, baby. Mommy shark, let's go. Shark. Baby shark, baby. Grandma shark. Grandma shark. Thank you. All right, that was our little icebreaker intro. Give him a hand. I bring you greetings from the Utica campus. I am the early childhood education instructor for night. We have day and night classes. The way you choose a quality daycare, we're gonna look at compassion, love, caring. You have to care about what you do. And you want a teacher that's gonna be compassionate and caring to your child or children. We look at the class size. We want to have low teacher-child ratio as we select a quality daycare. These are the things that we look at. We teach the foundation to the teachers, so when they go into the center, we're laying the foundation with phonics and learning in early childhood education. We are building the children up, their self-esteem, their courage to let them know they can be anything they want to be in life. These are the things that we look at. You all are doing good. So when you're choosing a quality daycare, you want to look for safety. You want to make sure that it's going to be beneficial. You want a learning environment. You want where your children will succeed. You want to make sure they have academically inclined sports and different types of things to do. So I am the early childhood education instructor at Hinds Community College. If you all ever want to take classes, please come see me at the U. All right, and that's my spiel for today. Give yourselves a hand. Thank you.
Wow, some interesting information about our childhood development on our Utica campus. Make sure you stop by to do a lot of things outside, play on the swings, and they also get involved with some campus activities like paving the streets. But now we're going to move on to Miss Monica Hill with a presentation on getting tough with turfing. She works in the museum on the art side. So let's see what she has to say.
It's my pleasure to introduce a young woman who is the artist in residence at the Utica Institute Museum. One of the projects that we have that we're working on is a collection of oral histories. And this young woman has worked with us to collect some artwork that's going to supplement that. She's going to talk to you a little bit and then I'll finish up. Monica Hill.
Hey y'all, my name is Monica Hill and I'm a visual artist from South Jackson, Mississippi. I do textile work, I'm a collage artist, digital artist, I paint, I do a little of everything. With my time at the Utica Institute Museum, I'm the oral historian, so I'm having conversations with people in the community to preserve the history of the college and of Southern Black education. And we also get to incorporate some textile art. I'm also trying to get involved, where I am getting involved with the students on campus and teaching them how to loom knit and make beanies. For example, Miss Green made that one herself. Yeah, so that's one part of it. And also in my time with my artist at work residency, I have time to create art, personal art. So I brought a rug and a stool that I made, and we have some other examples of some artwork that me and the students are doing down at our booth, the Hinds and Utica booth, so just come check it out, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I do take commissions too, so if y'all want a rug, you come on down.
Monica is too modest. The artwork that she does looming, she does digital art, she also does this, which is tufting. One of the things that we're so excited about her adding to our collection is the exhibit that we're working on. Can you take that for me? Don't get tangled up. The exhibit we're working on for our oral histories. We're going to incorporate some of the fabric art into that. Part of that's going to take what Monica calls painting with yarn. So that is going to finally come into a piece that is going to show in our museum and then be part of the entrance to the oral history studio that we have at the museum. Monica has been real essential to our work, and we were able to get in touch with Monica through our partner, the Mississippi Center for Cultural Production. With their artist program, they introduced us to the Artist at Work initiative, and through that we were able to get Monica involved with us so that we can do additional outreach into the community and to share that with you. So please come down to our booth, talk to Monica, see what she can do. I will tell y'all that this fabulous looking beanie that I have on, I had no concept of what loom weaving, knitting was. I saw this circle with little pegs on it, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. And Monica showed several of us the technique. The length of time it took to do this was over the course of 3 days, but I only gave about 30 to 45 minutes to it each day. So this is not something I just sat down with and labored over for a whole week. Monica and her mother are able to do 2 of these in a night. This is Monica's mother. So if you would come down and see us at the museum booth, and I will be back to talk to y'all in a little bit about the history. Thank you so much.
Now I want to head over to another department on the Utica campus, the agriculture department, and we have Dr. Carla Turner Bailey, who showcases some demos and talking about agriculture. Her department is to partner with Silpculture, and they also give fresh produce to the elderly as well. They also have a lot of projects happening on in the community, and I'm pretty sure she's going to talk about that in her presentation. So let's see what she has to say.
Thank you, Mr. Fuller. So we're here at the Mississippi State Fair, where we're surrounded by so much agriculture. And I always tell people whenever I talk with them, without agriculture, you'll be hungry, naked, in the dark, and I'm starving, of course. So all the things that encompass with us with agriculture is so important. So everything that you see around here in some shape or form or fashion is involving you and is impacting you with agriculture. Of course, we know from the food we're eating here, all this wonderful food that you can get on the midway, as well as the air we're breathing, the time that we're taking our energy. Of course, we have the different energy sources that we have. We have from hydroelectricity and various things, but I'm here to talk to you about what we do at Hinds Community College in our agriculture program, and I am a representative of both campuses, but I'm here to speak to you about the youth. And so here, as the agriculture instructor, I teach several classes there. I want to kind of give you a little background because 1 in 3 people in the world are employed in agriculture. That is a huge number. 1 in 3 people in the world are employed in agriculture. And so we see so many different facets of agriculture around us here in the Trademark and as well as at the fair. So on the Utica campus, we have a greenhouse, we have green space, we have the foundation of that campus was built upon what? Agriculture. And so it is so important to me. I have been an Aggie, I would say before conception. My grandfather was a farmer, and my mother would go on to take the helms of that when she would had all of her children out there farming. My brother, who is a co-director of the Mississippi Center for Cultural Production, they spoke a little bit earlier at 11:30 today. They're in the agriculture and arts business. So agriculture runs deep in my roots, in my family, in my blood. So that's what the Utica campus was founded upon. One of the tenets was agriculture. William H. Holtzclaw found that it was very important that he bring what from Little Tuskegee would be here in Utica would be agriculture. So what did they do? They had farming there. They had an orchard. They had vineyards. They were able to have their own cattle. They had their own swine, and of course they had their own vegetable production. So what do I teach my students in the program? I teach them about animals. I teach them about plants, soil science. We even teach a little forestry and farm management, and of course ag economics. I also have the opportunity to teach agriculture accounting. So all of these are different opportunities for our students. And when you say that 1 in 3 people in the world are employed through agriculture, you have to really, really take it back and think about all the different ways. So we have from food service to food production, producing the food, to the processing industry. We have Tyson Foods, we have Cal-Maine Foods. We have internships that are available to our students. We have so many things. But I want to go a little bit, tell about a background about myself. So as being an agriculture person, I attended Hinds Community College and majored in ag. I knew from a young age that I wanted to be an agriculturalist. I was actually filmed when I was in high school saying that word when they were building the FFA Center, which we have FFA represented here in the Trademark today, that I wanted to do something, and I wanted to be a farmer. But for farming, it takes a lot of resources. You have to have a lot of resources to be able to do that. I didn't have everything that I needed, I thought at that time, to be a true 100% farmer, so I had to find another job. So what would that be? Well, from the time I was little, I was teaching. I was a teacher from when I was probably about 4 years old. I would command my cousins and friends in the classroom, which was my parents' home. And so in commanding them, I knew that teaching was a passion. My parents are in education. I wanted to be an educator, I felt. But I wanted to know, agriculture was my STEM, and that's what I want to be a part of. And so in doing that, what better way to mix the two? To become an agriculture educator. It's huge. And because of agriculture educators across the nation, we are a part of Future Farmers of America, National FFA. We have an organization on campus, the Collegiate FFA, for our students, as well as minorities in agriculture, natural resources, and related sciences. That's a lot to say, but we call it Manners. And it's a minority organization for our agriculture students. But not just for agriculture. We have to think about all the things that encompass agriculture. We have veterinary tech program. We have students on our Utica campus who want to go on in veterinary technology. We have students who want to become just animal science. Maybe they want to raise cattle. Maybe they want to raise some form of livestock. But in our plant science, we have our students who can work in a greenhouse, and they may want to go into vegetable production. A lot of organic, the word organic is being thrown around so much in today's time. Well, maybe want to be a natural raiser of farm products such as herbs, or maybe some form of green. So it's a lot of money to be made in agriculture. We have a 2+2 program at the Utica campus with Alcorn State University. And with that, we have our students who can go through our 2.2-year program at Utica, go on to Alcorn and finish. And one of the wonderful things is that Alcorn has a high placement rate with the United States Department of Agriculture. So our students are almost guaranteed a job once they finish our program and they go on to Alcorn. So there are so many different things. So I also want to kind of speak upon what STEM means to agriculture. So science, technology, engineering, and math. All of those various areas can go back and can be impactful through agriculture. So we have our campus has STEM, so we want our people to know that it's available. And if you know someone who is looking to be in a great field, agriculture is the field, the optimal field to be in, because without it, you're going to be naked, hungry, and homeless, and in the dark. So we would make sure we are finding ways to always be innovative. We're going to have someone coming in the future talking about drones on our campus and how we can become certified pilots. So that's huge, a huge opportunity for people. It is so many wonderful things that William H. Holtzclaw brought upon us so many years ago in 1903 when our campus was founded, that we're able to tie back to our agriculture. It is so important that we continue the heritage and the traditions that were created then. And he has left us a great legacy to have. So with that, we have our Farmers Conference that will be coming up in the spring. Our Farmers Conference is going to be open to anyone who wants to participate, to come out and learn more about what's available to farmers, what are the new technologies, what are the new trends that are happening in agriculture. And so one thing that we want to do is make sure that people know that when we have our Founders Week in the spring down on the campus of Utica, they come out to our Farmers Conference, which was a great success last year, but we're going to make it even better this coming year. So with that being said, there are so many wonderful things that can be done, can be had if you come to the U, and especially in our agriculture department where we're trying to transform lives through agriculture. Thank you.
Now we're on to Mr. Kenneth McGee, and where he talks about how using social media to build your business. Social media has taken the world by storm, so I'm interested to see how he ties it into his presentation on how it builds businesses. Let's take a listen.
Okay, we're going to do another session here today, and my name is Mr. Kenneth McGee. I'm the Business and Office Technology Lead Instructor here on the Utica Campus. And today I'm going to discuss using social media to grow your business. Anybody in here? I see there's a lot of business owners there. Anybody in the audience have a business? Okay. All right, so if you have a business, you likely spend a lot of time on social media. Did you know there were more than 4 billion active social media users today? And of course, that's up from 50% over the last 5 years. And those users spend an average of 2.5 hours on social media channels each and every day. So what are some of the reasons you would use social media to build your business? Anybody know? What are some of the reasons why you would use social media to build your business? Go ahead.
To network.
To network, exactly. So building your business brand, along with developing customer relationship, and even to make sales directly to customers. These are some of the reasons why. But first, you need to start with a plan. Every business needs to start with a plan. It's easy to get started on social media for many business purposes. We all use social media every day, so there's a level of comfort in using social media. What are one of the other things would make social media so effective? It's cost effective. Creating a Facebook page for your business or starting a Instagram, that's all free. But before you leap, you should set up a good business strategy. And you can use social media because it's free, but it's also time consuming. So the return on your investment is very important. So we all have heard of the phrase, time is money, right? So we don't want to just surf the internet and get no return. So without a plan, you have no clear goal for what you're trying to achieve. You should also research your competition. How are your competitors using social media? While you don't want to copy, you want to learn all you can about what others are doing in order to be competitive. You should also get inspired. You look at what other competitors are doing online, but also you want to take inspiration by looking at their success stories. You want to decide on what platform is right for you. So today, how many of you all using a variety of platforms on social media? About how many are you using?
About 10.
10? On average, there's 8 accounts open For each person. So what are some of the platforms you use? I know you're probably using Facebook.
Yep. TikTok too.
TikTok?
Yep.
Okay. So what's becoming more popular now?
Women.
So let's say, for instance, if you're selling to individuals 18 to 34, which media would you use?
18.
Huh? TikTok?
Yeah.
What about baby boomers?
TikTok.
People over 65?
Facebook.
Facebook? Okay.
Facebook.
You're exactly right. If you're selling to baby boomers, social media may not seem like it's a priority, but now more baby boomers are using social media as far as Facebook. So you want to choose a platform that doesn't have to be an all or nothing approach. So again, there's at least 8 social media accounts open per person today. Know your audience. Again, if you're marketing to someone 18 to 34, you may use TikTok. Anybody 40 and over or baby boomers, you may use Facebook. What are some of the other platforms? Instagram. Why would you use Instagram? What's some of the reasons why you use Instagram?
Modeling.
Huh? Okay. All right. So again, know your audience. One reason using social media for business is so effective is that you can micro-target your audience. You need to understand who your audience is. What's another reason? You want to build relationships, right? The unique benefit of social media marketing for small businesses is that it allows you to talk directly to customers and also do follow-up. You can build relationships over time, so you don't have to just sell your product up front. And when people engage in content, it's a great idea to engage back. So, you also want to pay attention to the trends. I'm not saying jump on every everything that goes viral, but you want to pay attention to what your competitors are doing. Finally, you want to focus on quality instead of quantity. So the number of social media marketing options for small businesses are many, and it may seem overwhelming at times. But you want to focus on 1 or 2 outlets first, and then grow from there. So at this time, do we have any questions about social media or about the Business and Office Technology Program? I'll just close in telling you a little bit about the program. We do offer classes like social media management, but we also offer application classes like Microsoft Office. We have your Excel programs that we have as well. And of course, we have business management, accounting. So we have a variety of classes that we teach in order to equip our students with the opportunity to work in an office setting as well as own their own business. So that's all I have. If there's no questions, we'll keep moving right along.
A great presentation from Mr. McGriggs. Now, a lot of gems were actually spoken in this presentation, kind of letting you know how you can use social media to your advantage. So hopefully you took some notes, so hopefully you pay attention. Now we're going to have the choir do another performance on the stage. Let's take a listen. plenty of presenters and plenty of new information spread it out into the Ag Expo today. Now we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to have the rest of the show. So please stay tuned.
The Radio and Television Production and Broadcast Technology Department is an intensive, hands-on training program designed to familiarize students with multimedia reporting. We welcome the best and the brightest students to come join the community at Hinds Community College, Utica. Students receive up-to-date and dynamic instruction from faculty members who are dedicated to fulfilling hands-on training using state-of-the-art equipment and facilities. I invite you to learn more about Hinds Community College Radio and Television Program and join me on our great journey that focuses on student success.
For more information about the Radio and Television Production and Broadcasting Technology Program, contact Timothy Chrysler at 601-885-7071.
Welcome back to this live coverage of the Utica Institute Day of the 163rd Annual Mississippi State Fair. Now we're going to move on to Miss Jessica Thomas as she discussed 10 ways to start a business.
But I'm going to proceed with talking about just 10 steps to start a business. So if you're interested in starting your own venture, we'll talk about some of the steps that you need to go through. So first, you want to determine whether or not there is a demand for the product or service that you're going to be offering. So while you're doing that, figure out what your market is. Define your market, determine what's popular, what's trendy. If you're unsure of what you want to do, sometimes just kind of look around. I have a couple of students who create customized items, who do hair, who do lashes, who sell clothes. So there's a lot of opportunity. Also, look into the market that already exists and determine how many of those customers you can make your own. How are you going to position your business? So determine who your competitors are. How are they positioning themselves? Where are they located? What are they doing that you feel that you can do better, and make sure that you showcase how great of a job it is that you're doing. What do your customers need? What do they want? What can you offer that doesn't already exist? So always remember that if there's a need and you're able to satisfy that need, you have an opportunity to make some money. Location is going to be very important. There are a lot of online businesses now, but sometimes customers need to come in, touch, feel, try on. So determine where you're going to be located. You want your location to reflect your image. If you're going for upscale, chic, you want your location to reflect that. You want to be in a safe environment. You don't want your customers to be worried about their safety coming to your location. Also, the competition, the businesses around you, will they be complementing your business or will they be competing against you? So, for example, if you're selling seafood, or you're selling, ladies, you have a ladies' boutique. So what is around you? Are you right next door to another ladies' boutique? So that's going to be direct competition, and that might not be the best idea. You can think about fast food restaurants, how they're positioned. Oftentimes you may see a Taco Bell, a McDonald's, a Wendy's all there together, but they're not necessarily in direct competition. Those items are like, but not exact. So you may want a chalupa from Taco Bell, some fries from Wendy's, a drink from McDonald's. So they're not necessarily competing against each other. When you're deciding where to place your business, where the location is going to be, it's important that you look at your labor force. That's what large businesses do. They look at who those workers are going to be, who they're going to be hiring from. Typically, they choose to go to areas that have a high-performing school district because those are the workers that they're going to be recruiting from. When you're planning for future growth, if you're looking for a location, look for something that's large. So if you're going to be expanding your business later, offering other products, you want to have the space to grow. And also be in proximity to your suppliers. If you're going to be needing supplies, here in Jackson, we've had issues with like the water crisis. So restaurants have had to, pick up ice, get water. They've had to go buy those things. So they needed to be in close proximity to a place to be able to get those things. Also, make sure your location is safe so that your customers feel safe walking to and from their vehicles. And zoning. Make sure that the type of businesses that you're going to be creating are zoned properly. Develop a list of all the necessary equipment that your business is going to need. Those are expenses when it comes tax time. Keep track of all the money that you spend in your business. And it's going to be important to get the necessary financing to start your business. So if you're ever going to need a business plan, or if you're ever going to need a loan, they're going to be looking for your business plan to know what it is that you're planning to do, what you need the money for, how soon can they expect to get their money back. You want to develop a relationship with your lender. These are a couple of financial programs that are offered through financial institutions. So these are 3 big ones. And you want to make sure that you have the proper permits. So the Secretary of State's office, you can just go to their website, file for the type of business that you want to file for, and we'll get to those in just a moment. But also on that website, you're going to get your EIN number, which is yours forever. It will never be reassigned to anybody else. Once you get that, that is just how you are identified by the federal government as an employer. Also, if you're going to be hiring employees, you want to make sure you take out unemployment tax insurance, workman's comp insurance, and depending on the type of business that you're going to be running, these are just some of the taxes that you may just have to pay. When you are running your business, you don't necessarily always want to use your name, just in case something goes unexpected. Your name is attached to that business forever. So you want to have a doing business as name. And then also, you register your name so that nobody else will be able to use it in the state. You want to protect both you and your business, so you want to register as a sole proprietorship, meaning there's only one owner to that business. You might also have a partnership, which there is more than one owner, sharing responsibility for those duties. A corporation, which in itself is a legal person, and a limited liability company, which means you have limited liability. When you are a sole proprietor, you and the business are one and the same. So any debt that the business incurs is your debt personally. Any profits that the business has are all yours. With a partnership, you share in those responsibilities. And you have 3 general types of partnerships that are very, very popular. Remember that if you're going to go into a partnership with somebody, you want to have a partnership agreement. You cannot have a 50-50 partnership. What if you have a restaurant, somebody wants to create a food truck? Who decides whether or not that food truck is going to be purchased? So when you're determining who has majority ownership of the business, maybe somebody invested more than the other person. Maybe it was one person's idea. So they might be the person who decides on the final decision. Corporations are their own unique legal entity. As I mentioned earlier, they are an artificial person. They live infinitely. Think Coca-Cola, formed in the 1800s, is still going strong because those board of directors, those stockholders, the board of directors makes all the decisions. So when you're deciding what it is that you want to do with your company, think ahead. You want to protect yourself. So make sure that you acquire some accounting experience, and if you don't have that, hire somebody, because your finances in your business is not anything that you want to joke around with. So when you're determining what, for example, a space to rent or to purchase, look for those hidden costs. Look at the fine print. What taxes are you going to have to pay for that particular type of property? Make sure that you're paying your employees a minimum wage, and check to see if there are any incentives from the government for your business. Be sure that you advertise. Include that in your budget. You can go free, utilizing YouTube, social media, but all your customers may not be on social media. So you have to factor in where your customers are and make sure that you're able to get the word out for them. Don't automatically jump to a television commercial, because that's going to be the most expensive way to advertise your business. Make sure that you're putting your customers first. Customer service is key. Just get to know them and understand what it is that they want. And as an employer, understand what your responsibilities are. Pretty much restating the things that I just went over. So this information came from these 2 websites, and if you need any further information, feel free to take a picture of this screen and reach out if you need me. Thank you so very much.
All right, now we're going to take over to our biology instructor, Miss Stephanie Burks, as she talks about adventures in respiration. Kind of interesting title. Hopefully we find something new here.
Wonderful. I want you to do me a favor, and I want you to breathe in, and I want you to breathe out.
Does anybody know which organ is responsible for you breathing in and breathing out? Your lungs. Very good. Breathe in and out again. Some of y'all struggling. That's all right. While we are talking about lungs, raise your hand if you know anybody that smokes cigarettes or cigarette adjacent. Who smoke? Who you pointing at? Or cigarette like? All right then, so I'm gonna name a couple of chemicals and a couple of everyday things, and we're gonna see if we use them. How many of you all get your nails done? Wonderful. Nail polish has formaldehyde in it. Anybody else know where formaldehyde is? Embalming fluid. How many of you use batteries? Battery fluid. How many of you use vinegar? Ammonia. Anybody ever heard of lead? All of those are contained in cigarettes. So that means all of those chemicals we light up, heat up, and breathe in our lungs. Not too good, is it? And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at a couple of lung simulations. One is a healthy lung, okay? So ideally, this is what our lung looks like. These are not human lungs, okay? So don't nobody go around saying they had human lungs here. These are not human lungs. Everybody okay? All right. I also want to thank my helpers for coming for me. I can't stand it either. All right, so this is a nice, healthy lung, right? And so it is nice, it is pink, it is healthy, it has blood flowing through it, right? And so when we breathe in, what happens to our lungs? It inflates, it gets bigger, doesn't it? So let's see what that looks like with a healthy lung, shall we? Hold that, because it's going to fall, child. All right. Now she's going to slowly inflate it. And so I said slowly. That's not slowly, child. Slowly. And so it is dripping. You have to keep it moisturized, all right? Okay. And so ideally, hold on, let me turn this around. Don't nobody touch this microphone when I'm done with it. So ideally, it is going to go over here and say ideally it's going to inflate.
Ideally, it's going to inflate.
Ideally, it's going to inflate. And so, say it inflates. Say it, girl.
It inflates?
All nice and healthy.
All nice and healthy.
Now, what do you think a diseased lung looks like? You think it's going to be nice and pink? Who said yes? Now this one over here hollering out the wrong answers took me for anatomy and physiology. I feel some type of way. Come on, put your hands in there. So now we're looking, just hold it up and show it to the people. So now we're looking at a diseased lung, right? So what happens when you smoke a lot of cigarettes and cigarette adjacent, when you light up anything and inhale it? When you light up anything and inhale it, amen, you run the risk of this happening to your lungs. Does this look healthy? Does it? Y'all don't take me for anatomy and physiology, do you? That whole table, I'm gonna talk to y'all later. So not only is it darkened because it's not getting adequate blood flow, but if you feel on there, you'll feel these nodules, these bumps. And so that's indicative of cancerous tumors. And so we recognize that one of the things that happens with cigarette usage is the potential to have lung cancer. How many of us know somebody with cancer? All of us should know somebody with cancer. And so the things that we recognize with cancer, cancer doesn't just come out of nowhere. Cancer are our cells that undergo mutations. So when you expose your cells to the lead and the benzene and the ammonia and the nicotine, you run the risk of this happening. Do we expect this to inflate like the other one did? What you think's gonna happen? It's gonna stay like that, it's not gonna inflate. Let's see. Lauren's gonna go ahead and hook it up for us. It might inflate a little bit, but not too much, huh? No, you don't think so? All right. So now she's gonna put, oh child, oh no. Girl, she breaking it, y'all, pray for her. And so now it doesn't want to inflate, right? And so that's indicative of oxygen, right? So if we have a diseased lung like this, are we gonna be able to breathe efficiently? Are we gonna get tired real easily? Yes, we are. So ideally, we want our lungs to look like this, don't we? So that means if you smoking anything, yeah, anything, we want to make sure we start cutting down on it because we don't want our lungs to look like this. The good thing is, as soon as you stop smoking, whatever you smoking, okay, your lungs start regenerating and they start becoming healthy again. So even if your family member smokes a lot, the moment they stop smoking, they're giving their lungs a chance to get at least a little bit healthy. Everybody understand? So we want to make sure when we see our aunties, our grandmamas, our cousins, our brothers, and our sisters lighting up them Newports outside because they know they can't smoke in the house, we're going to tell them, y'all know what I'm talking about, don't you? We want to tell them that they need to go ahead and stop it because the nicotine makes it addictive, right? All the chemicals in it makes it addictive, and we don't want that to happen, especially in our community. Are there any questions? All hearts aligned? Anybody want to come up and feel alone? No. Come on if you want to come up. Howard, come on. Get some gloves first. Some gloves over there. Yes, they are. So they're not, again, Ms. Burke said, they are not human lungs, okay? They are animal lungs, which we are animals, but they're pig lungs. And they have been falsely colored. Oh, do they want to come? They want to come up? I know you. How I know you? I know her. Come on. Give me some gloves. Y'all wash your hands. Leave these babies alone. Let's get them some gloves. How y'all doing?
Next we have Museum Co-Director and English Instructor Dan Fuller.
Community College Utica Campus, along with the Utica Institute Museum and Zip Culture. Today we wanted to, up next I was going to share with you just a little bit of information about the Jubilee Singers. Over in the museum booth, which is right over there in the Ag Expo, we have the traveling exhibit for the Utica Jubilee Singers, talking about some of the history of the singing group. The Jubilee Singers were part of the school's founders program to promote the school and fundraise for the institution. The school was founded as the Utica Normal and Industrial Institute by William Holtzclaw in 1903. He was a Tuskegee graduate and came to Utica to found a little Tuskegee. One of the things that he did in order to provide money for students and scholarships and that sort of thing is he assembled a group of men from the college who would give a concert, and then he would talk a little bit about the school and pass the hat. He toured all through the Northeast, initially following Booker T. Washington's connections to fundraise for the school. So I was going to share with you this kind of first tour that they went on. This is from Holtzclaw's book, Black Man's Burden, which was the first book published by an African American in Mississippi. It's Holtzclaw's autobiography. He says, during the first summer, after the school was organized, I determined to take a quartet of young men singers on a tour as a means of interesting more people in our efforts. We traveled through the Catskills and the Adirondacks, around the North Shore of Massachusetts, as far north as Bar Harbor, Maine, and also in the White Mountains. We met with several interesting adventures. One night, quite late in August, we found ourselves at a place not far from Faven, New Hampshire, where it was not possible to get shelter for the night. We stayed about the little railroad station until it was locked and we were turned out of doors. It was very cold considering it was a summer night, so cold that we did not dare lie on the ground for any length of time. So we walked back and forth on the railroad tracks to keep warm. Late in the night, however, the boys became so tired that they dropped here and there along the ground and went to sleep. The next morning, William A. Harris, one of my teachers, who had charge of the quartet, found that he had contracted a severe cold. He never recovered from that exposure and now lies in the little cemetery near Utica. As for me, I walked the entire night. I didn't dare stop. I suppose I walked many miles back and forth on the railroad tracks before day. That story with William Harris, who's buried in the St. Peter Cemetery in Utica, really demonstrates the level of commitment that Holtzclaw and those that were working with him had to the students of the institution. William Harris ended up giving his life for the singers and for the students of the school. Over in the exhibit, as you travel through, you will learn about some of the Jubilee's accomplishments. One of those is that for a time, they were arguably the most popular black singing group in the country. They were in the right place at the right time. They were in New York City. WHUC radio was just getting started, and they were gearing up to start up NBC, National Broadcasting Company. And so they needed folks to perform on the radio. They asked the Jubilee Singers if they would come deliver a concert. So they went that Sunday and performed on WHUC radio. The turnout and number of postcards and letters that they received was overwhelming. And so the WHUC folks offered the Utica Jubilee Singers a contract to host a weekly radio show called the Utica Jubilee Hour. That radio show was syndicated on NBC in the 20s and 30s and reached 3 million listeners every week from little old Utica, Mississippi. They're performing in New York City. Because of the success of the radio show, they received a record deal. They were recorded with RCA Victor. They put out a number of records. They also put together a movie called Radiators as a Vodafone short that aired in about 3,000 theaters around the country. And after those two, the radio show, the record deal, and the movie, there was great demand for the Jubilee Singers to perform worldwide. So NBC took them on, they were their agents, and booked a series of international tours for the Jubilee Singers. they performed all through the world, on several tours in France, Germany, they were in Denmark, Sweden, they performed for the King and Queen. They went to England, Spain, Egypt, Palestine, over to Singapore and Japan, all through the U.S. and all through Canada. And so because of the success of that program and the fundraising efforts that the Jubilee Singers were able to continue, the school grew rapidly, and the money from all of those endeavors allowed the school to bring more students to the campus and also to fund several endowed scholarships. And some of those we still receive income from today. We have several scholarships at the campus that are funded from that early work by Holtzclaw and the Utica Jubilee Singers. So we'd like to invite you to come check out the museum exhibit. You can see pictures of the Jubilees all through the years. We're right over in the Ag Expo area, and you can see some of the early photos of the Jubilees, from the radio days, some of those radio strips over at the museum exhibit. If you get a chance to come out to the Utica Institute Museum in Utica, you can also hear the original recordings. We have a wind-up record player, Brunswick, that you can hear the original record as it was, intended to be heard. And so we hope that you get a chance to come out and learn more about the Jubilee Singers.
We're now going to move on to our last presentation today with Cassandra Ellis, who's our technical guru. Let's see what kind of technology innovations she's going to share with us today.
Bottom box fan. Once I bought the box fan, I unscrewed both sides, and then I put it in and took out the motor with the fan. With that fan, I went ahead and cut all the pieces of the fan so that the motor just show by itself. So after I did that, I kept the top off, and then I went ahead and made a barrier around so that the paint won't splash everywhere. So the purpose of this is pretty much an art project so that you would be able to use technology instead of just painting with your hands, so you can use tech so that you can be able to paint a little bit faster. So if you would like to come up and look at the demonstration, you guys come up and look at it so we can show you guys exactly how spin art actually works, okay?
Well, I'd like to thank you guys for joining this special edition of this Utica Institute Day here at the 163rd Mississippi State Fair. I'm your host, Devin Anderson. Until next time, it has been WHUC News 7 at the Hinds Utica Campus Radio and Television Department. Thank you for joining.